This is a Power 98.7 podcast. Now we're talking. Subscribe to Power 98.7 podcasts in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. There's more on power987.co.za.
If you are confused, then it means you don't listen to Power Business on a Thursday. And we start with a song, particularly for the POWERSUIT segment, and that is the ever so great late Sibongile Khumalo, and that is taken from the album Ancient Evening, but that's the live version of Untold Stories. The choice, though, Kya Lincoln Mali. He has taken up Net1, and it was such a welcomed surprise that you would take on this task. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for you. I think that song cleanses. Also, it clears the space and harmonized.
Yes.
Net1.
Yeah.
How did you say yes?
I think it was a surprise for me as well. When I first got the call, my first reaction was Net1 and me. Now, the two don't mix. But when I suddenly got to understand more about the company, its depth, the quality of leadership that's there, and the changes that they'd made. There was a new shareholder,
Yes.
VCP, who are highly regarded. When there was a new board with eminent, executives with great experience. But the biggest hook for me was its commitment to financial inclusion.
That's exactly what Net1 is supposed to do. And the rot that we had seen prior to that just diminished what the essence of the company is.
Indeed. So for me, that was the calling. This is something I've felt passionate about for many years. To find a way of providing the broadest sense of financial products to low-income communities in a dignified manner, in a manner that gives them choice, in a manner that gives them an opportunity to make their lives better. And so when I started looking at the capabilities of the company, I was blown away because so many things that they had, I didn't know belonged in that. The only thing that most people associated Net1 with was, the SASA scandal.
Yes.
So after engaging the board, Jabuma Buza and Kuben Pillay, Ekta, and all of these, Mondengosi, I felt that these people are prepared to put a lot of money to invest in this company to get it back to what it could be. And they also made a decision that its primary focus will be on South Africa and on financial inclusion. And I think I was sold.
I love that. But there was also political interference when it came to Net1 and subsequently the saga and the scandal as we know it now. How does that exist in the current Net1? Because there's a big cleanup. And of course, you also have a new brew.
Yes, I think one of the things that most leaders do is to get into a place with a lot of preconceived ideas. I suspended my own judgment. I knew everything I'd read about Net1. I knew everything that had gone on. But I'd not met the people. Because a lot of the people that were involved in all of this had all gone.
Yes.
They were no longer there. There were now, close to 3,000 people who have suffered the indignity of being associated with Net1. All of their other capabilities, which had nothing to do with social grants, that do other amazing things. With some products that were the only suppliers in the world. There's technology that's world class. Those people had nothing to do with what had happened.
And if you didn't know, it means the greater majority of South Africans had no clue.
Indeed. So for me, it was one of those challenges that says, how could I journey with those people to say, do we collectively understand what went wrong? Do we understand what that means? And what would we do differently? And then collectively, we would say, what would the new Net1 look like? And it also meant that we were going to reach out to so many stakeholders, so many constituencies we'd hurt before.
Yeah.
And where we had an adversarial relationship, and start to go and engage with those stakeholders and start to say, tell us how you experienced us before. What were the things that we did that hurt? And also, how can we make things better? So that we also give a sense of what are some of our plans and some of our ideas. So the last 4 weeks I've spent with clients.
Yeah.
In rural areas. Nobody knew who I was, but just talking to them about what matters to them. Talking to employees of the company, talking to various partners of the company and other companies that worked with the company, to go back and listen to them. So it's been a lot of listening. And over time, as we've consulted all of the stakeholders, we'll start to go and talk more about what the new Net1 entails. But for now...
What are you seeing in this new Net1? What are you dreaming about, envisaging, especially because now you have a background of the employees that disadvantaged in terms of what the company was meant to do, and then it found itself in a very unfortunate situation due to dealings, and those are dealings that happen in South Africa as we've been accustomed now of late, that these things happen. But essentially, I think my question really is about your view of what Net1 is meant to be, especially from an individual that has a background of an international view of business process.
Yes. So the first thing I do need to make clear, there are legal processes that must take place for those where there was wrongdoing. That process is to continue. All people that must be held accountable must be held accountable. All of those issues must be dealt with.
Yeah, true.
And so they've got their own process and they will go that process. But when we think of Net1, as we spend time over the last 4 weeks with the team, we want to be a preeminent fintech in South Africa focused on financial inclusion. Because what makes Net1 unique, it's got all the ingredients of a fintech.
You're right.
But most fintechs don't have 1 million clients.
There we go.
2, it's got...
participating.
Yes. It's got also ingredients of a bank, but it's got reach that most banks do not have. Most banks are closing branches. Most banks are removing ATMs. We are in the most rural environments and using technology, right, to bring services to people.
And that's what telecoms are trying to do, but
absolutely,
they are at a beginning stage.
Yes,
they have the client base. However, there's the convincing of this client base to buy into this product.
Indeed.
What you guys already have in the rural areas is buy-in.
Yes. So when people talk about Net1, the Easy Pay Everywhere card, the green card, 1 million people already have that today.
Wow.
About 450,000 people have loans. And about 350,000 people have got insurances and funeral plans. Those are stories that will come out as we start to engage with stakeholders. That in the midst of COVID, most people claimed, since we started the journey, this company has already been able to pay about 500 million rands in claims. So it's not a fly by night. People see, and the passion I found in the ordinary people was amazing. The other thing that's unique about this company is that there are also other products that we have that people didn't know belonged to Net1.
Right.
We had not marketed. Most people who pay either for bills, either for municipalities or whatever, use EasyPay. But they wouldn't have known that EasyPay come from Net1.
Yeah.
Net1 develops chips for cards. Net1 develops POS devices. Net1 develops ATMs for other companies. So there are many other things within the company that are amazing. And so it's how to take customer pain points and use technology to solve those customer pain points. That's really where collectively we want to take the company. And then even beyond social grant recipients, all other unbanked and underbanked individual customers and business customers, we are going to be going for them. Also, when you think about Net1 today, because of our position of focusing on South Africa, we've sold a number of other companies we had overseas. We're now sitting with zero debt as a company, which means that we've got the ability to then acquire other companies to make the company bigger.
Would that be locally though?
Locally, yes, because our biggest focus is on South Africa. And so when I look at that and the people that we have and the people that are joining us, the other thing that's been amazing is just, we've been humbled by, it's kind of like a flood of CVs of people from different telcos, different banks, different organizations who want to come and work with us in Net1.
Wonderful.
Because the people can see what went wrong, but they can see what good this company can do. And that's why when we start to announce the leadership team that I will have, people will be wonderfully surprised.
When is that going to be, Lincoln?
That's probably sometime in July.
Okay.
Because most people are, doing their resignation.
We're going to put in that call, right?
So, I've been humbled by the caliber of people and all of them have grilled me. Why Net1?
Yeah.
Why did you?
That's why that was my first question.
Yes, everyone has grilled me. Why Net1? And as I've started to tell them about what the company is about and what it has, and people have said, "Wow, we want to be there." So we're going to see a very diverse team.
Women?
Oh, by my entire life and track record says it.
Yeah.
Women are not an afterthought. At the core of our teams, leadership teams, there will be strong women in our team. So already some of the powerful people have started. So I can mention the one who started. So I can mention Musa. Stella Babadakis Rolls. She comes with 24 years of experience from Standard Bank, dealing with
industry.
cash and ATMs. So she already has come in, and in the 4 weeks, she's just made huge inroads. But it's not only the technical abilities that the people I'm recruiting are bringing.
Yeah.
It's the humanity. The compassion.
Let's pause there because
empathy.
you see this humanity, compassion, and just sheer resonating with one's soul. And especially as you grow older in a leadership position, it also speaks to where you come from.
Yes,
We're
indeed.
going to talk more about that after this break. We have to pay the bills, Mo.
Breaking down business like no other. Power Business on Power 98.7.
We are in conversation at 7:52 right here on Power Business. It is the POWERSUIT segment with Lincoln Mali. He is the newly appointed CEO at Net1, and it's been quite a rich conversation. And off air, we were talking about how we, as a South African public, have essentially discussed Net1 as the saga, the scandal, not prior, not post, not even during. But what you've explained so far, Lincoln, is the soul of what you are seeking in what to provide to an economically inclusive financial system.
Indeed.
Why? And I think I want to take you back
Yes.
to a Lincoln Mali in the Eastern Cape.
Yes. So I think my father and my mother had the greatest influence on me. And their view of the world was treat everybody with respect and dignity, regardless of their station in life. And they always cared about those that were less fortunate. And then at a young age, I got involved in the liberation movement. And the principles and values that we learned there have stuck with me for a long time.
Yeah.
Lastly, I have amazing people that have played an incredible role in my life. These are family members, these are teachers, these are coaches. So when I look at leadership, I look at those people. Because everything they did it for me and others without looking for gain. So when you go back to your township, the way they are so happy to see you. So they were focused on service to society.
Right.
So I always then had those principles with me. And so in all of my career, I tried to lead in that same way. And so when I got to Net1, I felt that let me engage staff, because whether South Africa did wrong or another company did wrong, there are still human beings there. Somebody might have a view about South Africa, but Nelson Mandela had to have a task to reposition South Africa as a country after everything that it did.
Yeah.
Or any company that gets into trouble, there are human beings there. As long as those human beings are prepared to change, then it's easy. And what I found at Net1, because the changes had been made at board level and they'd been made at management level,
Yes.
I was left with the staff. And what I saw were people who wake up at ungodly hours every single day, and they go and pay grants, and they leave when the last person has been paid. The commitment of those people inspired me even more than what I had read before I joined Net1.
Yeah.
So now I can say I'm a proud Net1er because I'm part of them, because I've seen what they do. And so I'm not going to be one of those people who lead behind a desk. I'm going to be journeying with them, going to do those things on the ground, because that's what I've done throughout my life. This is what I've done throughout my career, is to journey with clients and staff members.
I was at an event this morning, and it was more corporate speak, very, very, very encouraging, and with industry leaders. But one particular individual said, as women, we tend to downplay and use humility before we even try to even be arrogant and fill spaces. And what you are describing to me is humility.
Yes.
And leadership through humility, because then you get to see the next person.
Yes.
As opposed to I don't see you as a vessel that is working in the building.
Yes.
If I see you as a person first,
Yes.
then I respect you even more.
Yes.
And it goes back to your song choice.
Yes. So
That
if you
song
think
is
think about our untold stories. So the full story of Net1 has not been told.
Right.
The full story of the people that work in Net1 who endured all of this when they had nothing themselves that they'd done wrong has not been told. Our African stories have not been told.
No.
So one of the things that's wonderful about this program is that it tells stories. And that's one of the things that I certainly enjoy, because I come from a generation of storytellers.
Right.
And I've learned from them about storytelling. So one of the things that I've enjoyed just in these 4 weeks is to ask people to tell me their stories. it's been incredible how people have embraced that idea, and people are telling their stories
And shedding.
you know, and people telling me what they went through. And I kept on asking, why did you stay?
Yes.
And to a person, these people said, we signed up to do good work.
Oh, yeah.
We believed in what we were trying to do.
Is there honor, though, in that type of martyrness?
I think for me, yes, because the alternative
It's
is to
never celebrated in corporate.
For me, I've tried to go the different route in corporate. I've spent so much time in corporate, and there are all these things that says you must be like this, you must be like this, you must be like this. I've refused. Firstly, I bring myself to work as who I am. I'm proudly African. I don't compromise. 2, I have certain values that I have, and I'm not going to compromise. My sense of equity is not going to be compromised. And therefore, my sense of worth is never defined by titles.
Yebo.
So you hear people now say, oh, Lincoln CEO. And I say to him, my name is Lincoln or Lincoln, depending which school you went to. Because if I'm fired by Net1 and I'm walking the streets, I'm still going to be Lincoln. The titles of corporates can never define who I am. So the way I relate to the next person has got nothing to do with titles. So who I am when I'm with my friends is the same person. Who am I when I'm with my wife and kids? Same person. I bring myself to work. I'm encouraging people in Net1 to bring themselves to work. Where I worked for 19 years at Standard Bank, I worked across different countries on the continent. And every country I was in, I felt at home. I was treated like one of the people there. And the bonds that I've created there will last me a lifetime.
Everlasting.
But if I was relating to them on the basis of some fancy title
You'd be disingenuous.
or wearing a corporate mask, then I wouldn't have the relationships I have today.
Yo, but Lincoln, I wish we had even more than 30 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
On my side, you've wrapped up my day to one that speaks to resonance. Never forget who you are. Uzalwe njalo, uzawubhubha njalo. So bring yourself. Thank you so much and all the best. Lincoln Mali.
Thank you so much.
He is the CEO at Net1. It's a different story to be told. This is POWERSUIT and how we wrap up the Thursday edition of Power Business. Join us again tomorrow for the Friday 1 hour express edition. It is between 6 and 7 p.m.
Power Business was proudly brought to you by ABSA. We do more so you can. That's Africanacity. You've been listening to a Power 98.7 podcast. For more podcasts, visit power987.co.za or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.